less, so you need to pin the pieces to compare the two sides. To compare the two sides, how close they are to each other. So here it is. If I pin this side, I will see how close it is to the side underneath. So this is the hard part of the bias, that it has a life of its own. So here it is. And now when I compare to the other side, it may or may not be completely the same. So what you can do is, this one is not quite right, it's the bad pin. So if they are not exactly the same, you can kind of go between the difference. Not to use either one, but go between. So this is fairly close. Not too bad. So clearly mark what would be like, go between the difference. And now if I have a side seam marking here, I could add a little bit of flare still to the side seam, not too much though, because you don't want it to be accumulated too much to the side. You want flare to be evenly distributed along the hemline. But you can add a little bit flare to the hem. This came out fairly equal on both sides. I am not too concerned. And I added, this would be the flare. And then I will cut it to the seam allowances, and that should be good then for repinning. So here is 1/2 inch seam allowance on the upper edge and 1/2 inch on the side seam. once you mark the hemline, it's mildly round, but I still have to kind of smoothen it out, so it's about right, but I still have to kind of cut an even line for both sides. Now, usually when we have bias, it does, as you see, it keeps stretching. So we may have to refine the hemline before we finalize everything. But, you know, it is there. Now the bra top, here's the bra top, also through it. Here's center front, and this is mildly round. Could use also the rulers. And here's the dart, here's apex, side seam is ruler straight, and this could be mildly round here. Okay, and dart, you may or may not lower it. Usually we don't have to, so in this case we can throw it all the way to apex and pretty much keep it that way. On the other hand, this could be cutout dart, often a good idea to make it a cutout dart by removing the dart intake with the seam allowances though. Often a good idea here is to remove this excess. Leave 1/2 inch seam allowances for it. And again, cut to seam allowances 1/2 inch on side seam, 1/2 inch on whatever line this is called, midriff type, and 1/4 inch on the upper neckline. Okay, and now I will connect the two parts together. slashing the seam allowances definitely help to fit the two curvy parts together. And if they are not equal, don't worry about it at this point. We can check it on the dress form and have a final right shaping here. So it seems that the bra top is a little bit wider than the bottom part. Again, I could either make the bra top a wee bit shorter, narrower, and the bottom part a little bit wider by marking a line going in between here. Now, the difference may be because bias stretches and straight grain line doesn't. So that could be one reason. The two parts are not exactly the same. So what do you say? What do you think of this style?
Looks great. It gives it a dainty sort of feel.
Yes, it is kind of cute style for summer. I think it's kind of really quite lovely.